Hey everyone, welcome to this section. In this section, we're going to do a lot of fun practices to make sure that you understand everything that we've talked about so far. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, which is very important to remember as a programmer, especially if you're starting and you're trying to learn Python, is that your biggest enemy when it comes to learning programming is actually not putting it into practice immediately. Because when you actually learn something, when you watch a video and you do a little bit of a practice, you kind of start to understand the concept, but when you actually don't put it to more use, it starts to actually escape you pretty quick. You know, if you come back to something maybe tomorrow, you might actually not remember exactly how you were supposed to do something, you know, and that's a very important thing. That's one of the ways I was actually able to learn programming, was that I just kind of had to put it to practice and I had to just really use it. Because in the beginning, think about it, in the beginning, when you are learning programming, you're really not at a job, you're not developing something for yourself. You're basically just reading a book. You know, it's not really anything crazy. You're not actually putting it to use. So you're not really practicing your skills, even though we have a lot of practices throughout the sections of the course. So what I want to do is I wanted to make an entire section dedicated to practices that we're going to be able to do to put everything we've learned so far into use. Because again, the key to learning this is to really putting it to use. Otherwise, you're just going to forget about it in a couple of days and it's just not going to make any difference. And you would be wasting a lot of time, right? So what I want to do is I want to introduce you to a few really nice practices to, again, expand on everything we've learned. And also I want to talk about a very interesting concept in this section. You know, one of the things about differences between a good programmer and a bad programmer is the fact that a good programmer actually gets really creative with the code. All right. For example, one of the things that we did is that we were able to use, if statements inside a while loop, right? That's something we did in the previous section. And, a lot of these things actually are doable in the programming. Everything we've learned so far, like with the loops, functions, and all that stuff, you can actually put them inside each other a lot. And it's something that I'm sure you've seen throughout the course so far. And that is like actually a very important part of programming, and that is the creativity of you essentially using all these things in different combination and putting them together to actually make a very good program. So another thing that I want to focus as well in this section is actually trying to emphasize that for you and trying to make sure that you understand that these things that you've learned so far, from if and else statements, basic stuff, prints, integers, like strings and all that stuff, to while loops and loops, everything you've learned so far, these are building blocks. And for you to actually, build a program, you need to put all of these building blocks together. So that's where your creativity and your mindset comes in, and that's something that's really important. Like that's a very important thing that I want you to actually be able to practice. I want you to put that to use as well, and that's what we're going to do as well in this section. I want to talk about that concept, and I want to make sure that you understand this, and with a lot of fun practices, you're going to be putting them to use. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions, and let's start doing our practice and doing our fun stuff. I'll see you in the next video.